I'm starting my second year here. And last year, as I entered as a first-year teacher, I was welcomed by a student who never stopped smiling and never stopped joking in playful ways and never ceased to impress me. From the moment that I began teaching here, Will told me that he had been waiting for a band director like myself for a very long time. He joined the marching band my first year here and worked his way through the ranks within a short period of time to become the drum major, his second year marching, and led the band through one of their most successful seasons in history. We went from a 2A band to a 4A band in the span of 1 year, a growth that has never been heard of. In addition to taking on a show that required not only a lot from all of the members of the ensemble, but also a lot of leadership from the people who led the ensembles. And I will say that Will was at the forefront of that pyramid of leadership as one of the drum majors. And continually I relied on Will to complete tasks that as a student I don't think I would have been able to complete. But for Will it was a very small task. Will meant a very lot to me. He was a fantastic student, musician, and someone that I would consider a friend. And it's extremely painful to imagine my time here without him. However, I believe that every situation has a positive. And the positive in this situation is knowing that I am truly blessed to work with the students that I have here on the stage today. If any of you knew Will, which I imagine a majority of you did, Will is not one for a sappy party or for crying. He would honestly laugh in our faces if he saw us at times this last week. And for me, that has been the inspiration to move forward and to find the guiding light in this situation. And through this situation, I have realized a lot about myself, not only as a young educator, but as a young adult. And I realized the value of the relationship that I forged with my students, in addition to my leadership in guiding them through their lives. And it's extremely painful to know that I had to come to these realizations through the death of a very loved student. However, I believe Will would find comfort in knowing that all of us in this program have grown from this experience, not only in the care for one another, but also in the strength to move forward and the leadership to guide young members of our ensemble. The next piece we are going to play is entitled "A Hymn Song oh goodness, here I go. On a Hymn Song of Philip Bliss. I utilized this piece to help the students go through the grieving process in this situation. As someone who has not lost somebody very important to them in their adult life, I had a very hard time coming to terms with the fact that Will would no longer be here. And the students and I have taken this piece and tried our best to allow the grieving process to speak through music. And as you will hear, there are many different phases that we go through in this piece. But there is a very clear stage of hope that will push us through and will guide us through the next portion of our lives. And in this section, I have empowered the students to see the light at the end of the tunnel, to find the positive in this situation, and move forward and grow in knowing that that's what Will would have asked of us. The piece then, at the conclusion of the piece, returns to a reflective moment where we accept what has happened, and we come to terms that this chapter in our lives is now over. And I told the students that tonight for me this piece will be closure, and for them as well. This will be our musical tribute to Will, one of the most outstanding students I've ever had the pleasure of teaching. And when there is no time for words, there is time for music. And there is no other time that is true than now.